Good morning. Okay, my name is Jadon, and I'm from Grace Chapel Luyang in Sabah. And now I would like to share with you my experience in RBS. Honestly, I don't know why they chose me to share, but probably because I'm from Sabah lah. But here I'm going to share with you what RBS means to me. So let me tell you a bit about RBS. RBS is basically a bunch of people gathering on the mountains to learn about God. And along with 30 other students, I spent the last 6 weeks in this school learning and understanding about my faith. When I first came to RBS, I didn't know any of these guys. It was pretty awkward, but because everyone already knew each other from Tree Holiday Camp. And I was still in Sabah then. But as the days go by, I got to know many of my friends here, and we got to build this relationship with one another. I got to experience how God not only working through my life, but also in my friends' lives as well, and how they actually build each other up in Christ, and how much we have grown spiritually along with one another. Each one of my friends here and the staff, they have all taught me something, and they have all impacted me in some way, either in their sharing, their testimonies, or even in the actions that they do. For example, one of the things that Colin taught me, he reminded me that my life is not my own, but it is all from God, and everything I have is for God. And now I can use my life to be a blessing to others because of how God has already blessed me. One of the sessions that really struck me in RBS was the Back to Basics class by Rudy Chow. That time I felt that my faith was really being challenged. He asked us some really simple questions about my faith, and I couldn't answer them. This really got me to question myself. Am I really a Christian? How can I call myself a Christian if I am unable to even answer these simple questions? I was shocked to realize how little I knew about my faith, despite being a Christian. And this session really made me realize how much I needed to change and start taking my faith seriously. So one way I can do this is that I can try my best to stay awake during Sunday messages. It's a start, but on a serious note, I will take things more seriously when I go back. I also learned a lot from the activities we had during the school, like jungle trekking, evangelism, and mission trips. But the one that stood out for me the most was my mission trip. My team, Maclay, we traveled to... we traveled to different villages in Temerloh. And there, I met two uncles, which is Uncle Charles and Ngai. So these are just two very ordinary uncles. They just look like those guys. And he drives the Hilux without shoes. And Uncle Charles and Ngai would go to these villages to help provide food and clothing for the villagers. And I had the privilege of joining Uncle Charles and Ngai to help the villagers and share my faith with them. It was an eye-opening experience to go to these villages because I don't really get this kind of opportunities often. And I could see from Uncle Charles and Ngai that they have a heart for the Orang Asli people, and their testimonies are an example that all of us can actually follow. Because of their faith and this heart for the Orang Asli people, they could plant this seed in many parts of Temerloh, and by God's grace, these seeds began to grow and eventually became churches all around Temerloh. And what I could really learn from these uncles is that whatever we give to God, what little we give to God, our 5 loaves and 2 fish, but God will use them to feed the 5,000. All we have to do is take this step of courage, and God will use what we have given Him to fulfill His purpose. So from all this, I really learned from this RBS experience, and it was truly a memorable one. And although RBS is coming to an end, my journey with God doesn't just stop here at RBS. It is something that I can bring with me and continue for the rest of my life. And to my fellow RBS classmates, let us make this experience as one that puts us in the right direction as we continue our walk with God, to trust Him in all that we do. Thank you.